My name's Ariana.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Thompson.
I'm Chloe Johnston.
My name is David Schurter.
Hello, my name is Jackson Grunke.
My name is Calista Donaghy Robinson.
My name is Tess Ferguson.
My name is Layla Marcelo Gomez.
My name is Noah Ron Wrestler.
My name is Lorian Tyne.
I am a senior journalism major.
A senior journalism major.
A senior sports
I
media
am
major.
a senior TVDM
senior
major.
journalism
I'm a senior documentary studies and production
I'm a
major.
senior journalism
I'm
major.
graduating this May, and I'm the editor-in-chief of Ithacan.
I started out with the Ithacan. I wrote a couple of articles for y'all when I was a freshman and a sophomore. And then I came back as a senior to be the opinion editor.
I first joined the Ithacan my freshman year, fall of my freshman year. I was a photographer first, so I really got into photo. And then fall of my sophomore year, so 1 year later, I became assistant photo editor, then I was head photo editor, and really kind of fell in love with this paper.
So I joined the Ithacan my freshman year in November, pretty much on my birthday. That's why I remember it, because my first assignment was on my birthday. It was right after I decided to become a documentary studies major, because I came in as exploratory. The first thing that I did was I was like, I'm joining the Ithacan.
I came in during orientation week and everyone was working on the first paper, and I was like, when can I start?
One that's really, I don't know if this is exactly my first one, but I know that I had to do like some sports photos of like a lacrosse game going on. But it was cool because I got to sit down on the field and like be super close to like the action.
I think it would have been actually when I was doing training. I proofread a review for Shogun.
My first piece was a Q&A.
I guess the first thing I did was design or come up with just the general idea for a design that would go well with the rest of the magazine and highlight our best stories.
My first assignment was a comings and goings article for fall 2022.
I was writing a story about how the women's cross-country team builds team chemistry, and they were going on a retreat at Greek Peak doing like rock climbing and zip lining and things like that. I had a lot of fun with it, and it turned out a lot better than I was anticipating.
The first article that I got published was about COVID-19 cases and how it was impacting attendance in classes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, one of my favorite designs, basically I made like a little film camera with like the light of the camera like going onto the headline.
I love going through the life and culture stuff, the reviews for the movies, because a lot of times I see the movies as well, and it's so interesting to see how people write about it and the different opinions, and the writing is always really great, even if I don't personally like agree with the opinion, which is really fun.
One of the things that was the most memorable for me was working on our election edition. That was really cool. Interesting stuff with commentaries and like campus commentary, things like that, surrounding different issues with the election.
One of my favorite assignments was when I wrote about an ICTV show that was produced by a couple of students highlighting female athletes of color here at the college as well as across the NCAA.
I think my favorite assignment was when I got to photograph Brittany Broski when she came, just because that was super fun. And I honestly took that as a moment to like go see Brittany Broski for free, because I didn't get to pay for tickets.
I think my favorite one had to be the most difficult one that I've written. I wrote a story last fall on an athletics dress code that was issued, and being able to like draw in different perspectives and make sure my story was well-rounded enough to cover the entire story was a lot of fun.
My favorite assignment was actually a faculty council story. It was my very first time ever covering faculty council, and I didn't do a great job covering it. That was probably why it was my favorite assignment, was because I learned the most from it, and then from there I actually found out something at that meeting that became like a full-scale investigation.
I would say definitely year in review, because I think that was probably the most challenging thing. I think being on the Ithacan editorial board is very challenging in itself, because I had never actually edited pages for the Ithacan before. I was a photo editor, that was my background. But I had a really fun team, and I think it came out so well, and it was genuinely incredibly rewarding, and I'm really glad I did it.
I think working with the Ithacan just in general has been really rewarding. Seeing what you guys do every day is really cool.
Opinion was such a particular section. It's one of those spaces where it's really just you. So being able to run that section and create content was always something that I was proud of.
I'm just proud to be a part of the team because working at the Ithacan, it really is, every section has a part to play and you have to work together. And I think sometimes I can be a little shy, so it really puts you like out of your shell a little bit.
You know, the managing editor, Noah, is obviously like, I'm like very proud to like know her and be her friend and coworker, and I'm also very proud of the whole board and all the staff this past year.
There's so much talent around me in this office, there always has been, and I think being able to draw from that and take inspiration from other people and bounce ideas off of each other has been so much fun.
This isn't too specific, I guess, but you know, the photo and design people, they're like in like the back of the office there. And so it was just fun when we would get to, I don't know, sometimes just like mess around and be silly over there off in the corner.
I think training week, any of the training weeks, because it's really the time to get to know each other and get a sense of who each other is.
When I was assistant photo editor and we went to the New York City conference, so it was me, the other assistant photo editor, the editor-in-chief, and the design editor at the time. And it was just such a fun group to be around. And we just like went through the city and went to a bunch of different shops. I had a really bad dairy experience that trip, which was really fun story, not fun in the moment when I was running through the streets.
I mean, I think just like deadline nights in general, we were always in here for so long. Always an interesting time to be in here.
My junior fall was when I started to kind of branch out in a way because I ended up participating more with like the video section and the podcast sections.
I think coming in on Saturdays for your interview stuff, we'd come in real early, 8, 9 a.m. and work all day. It's a small team, but I think it was a really fun group.
Sophomore year, when I was an editor, we still had 2 a.m. Tuesdays at that point. And I used to have a office pillow and office blanket that I kept like by my desk. And Eleanor, who was the managing editor at the time, she was working on something for her senior thesis, and she was gonna be in the office really late, and so like past 2 a.m. So I basically made a bed for her, like out of newspapers and my pillow and my blanket, and I like put like fake fires on like all of the TVs and screens, and she just like laid in it and like did her work like on the floor in her newspaper bed, and that was so funny.
You know how it gets when it's later it gets and everyone gets a little bit wacky. I don't even remember what they bought, but they were doing sword fights in the office. They were, I don't know, all like the Uno when there was a scavenger hunt at one point.
It's really cheesy, but it was the first time that I was printed in the paper. I had a front. It was probably like my 3rd or 4th story maybe, and it was about the TCAT, and then that kind of became my beat that semester as a staff writer. I was the TCAT lady.
I think one of my favorite parts about working here was just kind of that you're losing your mind a lot of the time. I've grown to love that, and I love the intensity in this office and the intensity of the work that we do.
I think sometimes when I'm proofreading, like sometimes I'll read a sentence and I don't understand it, and so like working with like Reese or anybody that's ever, even the writers themselves, where we're trying to figure out what's being said, and that can be very funny sometimes.
There was one time when I was walking down from Circles and Flynn was in his like giant truck, and he screamed, "Do you want to ride at me?" And I couldn't tell it was him.
I think it's definitely this spring, everything going on with George. He's an interesting character. I wish I knew him better, but I see him in a different spot every day. Every now and then I'll say hi to him, but he's a chill guy.
Almost every meeting that we'd have in the Ithacan, Calista would sing the Welcome to the Black Parade song, which I don't know very well. I don't know why.
And I remember like Elizabeth was like playing like sounds of like people screaming. Like, she was just listening to sounds of people screaming. They were the best though. Like, it was crazy. It was terrible for like our health, but it was so fun.
I would say, like, don't be afraid to like come up and even like be curious about trying different things. This is a group of such supportive like students and peers and everything. So just don't be afraid to be curious, basically, and go out and ask for help.
Ooh, I think try everything. There's a lot of really great opportunities here, and it could be a little nerve-wracking, but I think once you're a part of something like the Ithacan, it's very exciting and you know good work is being done, and it's a great experience, so just put yourself out there, basically.
Remember your why. Like, remember why you're here, and if you can't remember your why, reevaluate the space that you're operating in.
I think the best piece of advice is to try everything here at Ithaca. Even if you don't know if it's for you, I think trying new clubs, new classes, something that maybe you'll fall in love with something new.
Genuinely, you can do anything you put your mind to. I really do believe that. And you are so capable of learning things.
Trust yourself and fake it till you make it a bit. Do things that you're bad at, and then just be open to criticism. If you can take criticism and keep growing in any capacity, I mean, you can go anywhere you want.
Don't do too much. Know your limits and know what you're capable of, and it's okay to be able to step away and be like, this is aggressive.
Oh my gosh, well, like, number one, the comfy couches and everything. I love when I would just sit here sometimes to take power naps, and it was the best like sleep of my life, or just rest for a second.
Ooh, I think I will miss the teamwork aspect. I think I will miss the feeling that we're all kind of in this together, and we're all students as well. I think there's something about that where we're all studying at this school and we're all learning from each other, and that can feel very, it just feels like you're in it together.
It's just that ability of like, you're here to learn, and you're here to sort of figure it out, and there's a lot of grace in that.
Gosh, I think I'll miss the community in Ithaca. I think it's such a small school, and the Ithacan is such a tight-knit office, and I think I'll really miss that. I intend on moving to a larger city, where I think I'll probably lose a lot of this tight-knit community-ness.
The first thing that came to my mind, honestly, was Casey. I'll be so for real. I'll be so for real. But yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of good memories with Casey. And she's been kind of like a mentor for, I think, everyone, so.
There's a sense of purpose in just collaborating with other people and forming connections with other people. I mean, it almost becomes not about the paper anymore, and you're kind of just doing something that you care about with other people who care about you.
The easiest answer to that is just the people. Hanging out and working with people that are so weird and fun and talented.
I think it is just an incredible community. Like, you walk into the office and you're just immediately met with laughter. You're immediately met with like people who are like saying your name. You're like, oh my God, hey girl, like what's up? It's just a really fun community, and that's been true from the first day that I joined the editorial board to now, and it's a completely different group now. Like, I don't know a lot of people on the editorial board, but it's still the same energy, it's still the same community, it's still the same kind of family, and I think that's a really special thing to find at college. So I think that would probably be one of the other things, and I also think just the work we do here in terms of journalism, in terms of community journalism, is so incredibly important and so incredibly worthwhile, and something I'm very proud to have been a part of.